in your head when you hear marriage?
Um, one thing that thank you. First of all, thank you for the opportunity given to me, and then I want to say hi to all your followers. And this is a big platform, and to giving us opportunity like young ones like us to share our view on marriage. So, to me, I see marriage as um, a journey that is for two matured people that
Oh,
has come together.
okay,
Yes, two
okay,
matured people that has come
okay.
together. Yes, to have a life experience, and yeah, that is my viewpoint on marriage.
Okay, but when you say two mature people, what, because you stressed it again, you repeated it again, meaning that it's so important to you. Now,
Yes.
does it presuppose that, or does it mean to you that only mature people should get into marriage? What happens to people who can get into marriage and mature whilst in marriage?
Um, I think that process is very difficult. Getting into marriage and then being matured, it is a difficult process. But
Okay.
then when you are matured and then you get into marriage, you
Mm-hmm.
don't find it difficult because you don't take certain things. Let me put it this way: like you
Mm-hmm.
are actually you know your left from your right.
Okay.
Yes, you are not being directed. You know your responsibilities.
Okay.
When I talk about a matured person, you know
Okay.
your responsibilities. You don't get into it before then you know your responsibilities. But then before coming, you
Okay.
have that mindset of that responsible person before
Okay.
getting into it.
Wow. That's interesting. But then again, I feel that um, because it's difficult to know when one is matured and fully prepared. Or Prissy, I don't know if there is a point where anyone can tell himself that I am now matured and ready to go into marriage.
I believe sometimes,
You know,
there are others who don't know.
but how do you know? Because for me, I don't think marriage. No, no, I don't think that anyone is really prepared to face what is in marriage until they get into marriage. No matter how much reading you do, how much whatever you do, I think you only get the details or whatever, all the nuances of marriage when you actually get married. I don't know what you think about that. And so, in my opinion, you can really not get prepared for what marriage has to offer. You can try your best, but it is only when you get in that you
Yeah.
really get to understand the gravity and the nuances even the responsibilities that you're supposed to handle. Sometimes you have it high level, you have a
Yeah.
fair idea, but
Yeah.
I don't know if what do you think about it, Wanda or Prissy?
I think PC should go with it.
Okay, so I'll
Yeah,
help you say that you don't have to experience it yourself to have that.
that's
So you
correct.
can have exposure. So if
Correct.
you're around people who are married and seeing what they go through, you
Correct.
have some amount of exposure that can tell you how much you're going to
Exactly.
see and marry.
Exactly. But then you can only it's just a foreshadow of things to come, right? But the
Yeah.
experience is not. Sometimes you learn a lot from listening to people, hearing people, and so on. But what you are faced with is not what you've heard. You get what I mean? So you
Yeah.
have a fair idea of
Yeah. It's true.
what to expect, but it cannot be the same as what you really get to experience. It's just like um, someone who goes to a driving school and says that he knows how to drive. When you really start driving, you realize that uh,
There's more
you
to
need
it.
exactly you need some level of exposure, continuous exposure to actually be firm with your grip and everything. And I think it happens same with marriage. Anyway, that's just my, and viewers, let's know what you think about it. I think that you don't get fully prepared for whatever you're going to face in marriage.
But I think the
Mhm.
maturity bit
Yeah,
is helpful sometimes.
yeah,
Yeah, because you are able to handle more.
Exactly. But my question here is, when do you know you are matured?
When do you know you are mature?
Yes. Yeah. What comes to mind when you speak about maturity? Wonder.
I mean, in my perspective, I think I'll still go to the responsibility.
Okay.
Yes, being responsible makes you a matured person because you get
Okay.
to a stage where no one tells you to do this, but then
Okay.
you know how to do this. And then in
Okay.
most instances, you know how to improvise.
Okay.
Yes, at that point, you should count yourself to be a matured person. But then, if
Okay.
always you are being told to do one or two, always you are being remembered, always you are being told to do this, then you are not mature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think you have a point there. Okay, so at least everyone should get to that point where
Yes.
no one prompts them on what they have to do. They don't need reminders on what they have to do
Exactly.
before they do it. Then
Exactly.
we know. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think you have a good point. William says, "Good evening, sir." Hey, William. Good evening. Good to have you. Okay. So, Wonder, what would you say are your deal breakers? What would you say before you go into marriage? What red flags would you say, and you say that no, this is not good? Like you see something in your fiance and you say that no, this one I can't live with that. What are those for you?
I mean, this is it. Okay. Well, my red flags number one
Okay.
is you not being respectful.
Okay.
That
Can
is my
you explain that? What does respect mean to you?
yeah. So respect means is that let's say I give a simple instruction because personally
Oh,
I'm a
wow. Are
simple
you going
guy.
to be? Are you? Is it like a teacher-student relationship? Are you going to be giving instructions?
Um,
I mean,
mm,
why would you? Yeah.
let's see. Oh,
No,
I don't
sorry.
know
Just
how.
go ahead. Go ahead with what you were
Yeah, so
saying. I'll
so
just follow you.
so my red flag is
Okay.
you not being respectful. Sometimes I can put you in a space of my friends and also my
Okay.
family, and then I see
Okay.
how you relate with them. The relationship that you give to them is the same thing you're going to give to me. Sometimes I come to your house unexpected and I see the
Okay.
way you relate with your family, and I
Okay.
put that in context with respect. So when I see you don't have that, I
Okay.
it's a big red flag for me.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. So let's say you have a troublesome relative and your spouse to be is not able to gel or flow with that relative, and it marks as disrespect. I mean, because that relative is always in for trouble.
Yes.
Will that cause you to say no?
Yeah, so that's when the maturity plays its role.
Okay. So
So
what would you do in that case?
the way she handles that troublesome relative,
Okay.
yes, the
Oh,
way you
okay.
handle situations,
Okay.
it's yes, it will show me who you are.
Hmm.
You
Okay.
know,
So
in every family we have a troublesome person
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
in every family. So the
Yeah.
way my fiance is going to deal with that person is either you ignore,
Hmm.
you move, you don't talk
No,
because
but there are people, and that is one type of conflict resolution strategy that a lot of Ghanaians don't like.
okay.
Sometimes the best way to resolve issues is to confront the issue.
Yeah.
So if you have a spouse who is like that and would want to address the issue, get it sorted out, that might actually be a good way to approach it. But because you might be looking at the person compromising, it
Mhm.
will look like that spouse to be is not really respectful. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so you can address that issue, but the
Okay.
way and manner you go about it,
Okay.
yes, when you are speaking to an elderly person, you should have
Yeah.
that respect in dealing with that elderly person. So let's say
Correct.
if you just go and then you are just speaking your heart out and then saying
Yeah, you have to
spitting
speak your
things.
heart out of the
No, no,
abundance of the heart, the mouth
you
speaketh.
yes, you have to, but in a way.
Okay. Yeah, I get what
Yes.
you mean, right? Yeah.
You
You
have
can
to.
add someone without necessarily cursing
Disrespecting the
and
person.
all
Yeah,
that. Just
correct.
Exactly.
make your
Exactly.
points
Yes.
out here.
Okay. Yeah, it seems today Prissy is really on your side. When I try to pull your leg, bro. Okay, that's fine. Number two. What do
Okay,
you
number
think will
two
be
red
the
flag.
red flag? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can we put that on the shelf when we are talking? It will come.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yes,
fine.
it will
So
come.
as you
I
think
want to
through
be
it,
real. I want to. I don't want to say
yeah, yeah,
anything. Like, yes,
and
I
that's
want to be
exactly
real.
what we need. We just
Yeah.
really want to understand what your thought process is. Yeah, Prissy, any question for Wanda?
Van, carry on. I think I'm just.
Oh, now
developing.
everyone wants to leave everything to me and then come through later on. Okay. Now, Wanda, when it comes
Yeah.
to raising kids, now usually depending on how people are raised, they have a certain mindset about how kids should be raised, right? Do you expect your spouse to or how involved do you expect your spouse to be in terms of raising kids, in terms of what kind of standards they live by? Do you think you should be the one calling the shots, or you think it's a shared responsibility? Do you think you are the one supposed to pay the fees, or you think it's a shared responsibility? What comes to mind when raising kids come into question?
All right. So first and foremost, I want to say I'm a Sunday school teacher, and she's
Oh,
also a Sunday
okay,
school teacher. Yes. So we
okay,
actually love kids. Yes, we love kids.
okay.
I think when it comes to
Oh,
raising
so
kids,
before then, so what's the plan? How many kids do you want to have before you answer that question? Since you guys
okay,
love kids, tell me.
yeah, she's saying
How many
five, and
children?
I'm
Five?
yeah, she's saying five, and I'm saying three.
Oh, okay, okay.
Three.
Have you guys been able to settle on that yet, or you are leaving it
Uh,
We'll
hanging?
meet each other in the middle.
That would be four. Okay.
we'll settle that. We'll settle that later.
Okay, that's fine. So sorry about
Yes.
that. Go ahead with your
Yes. So
submission.
I
Yeah.
think raising up kids it
Mm-hmm.
should be a shared responsibility. It
Okay.
should be. Yes. On my part,
Mm-hmm.
like when it comes to the school fees, I take care of it and everything. But then when it comes to bringing up the children, she needs to be involved. I also need to be involved because teaching at the Sunday school have made me learn a lot of experience when it comes to
Okay.
children.
Okay.
Some kids they need a lot of attention, and
Okay.
there are some kids you need to be very soft on them. And with my
Okay.
skills and then with her skill, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a problem because I've been a
Okay.
Sunday school teacher for about 3 years now, 3 to 4
Okay.
years now.
Your
Then
series
she's
is good. Yeah.
yeah, I've seen
Mm-hmm.
I've seen troublesome kids.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen
Okay.
troublesome kids. I think it's a shared
But
responsibility.
okay, that's fine. Then again, my question here is, yes, your CV is good with regards to being a Sunday school teacher and same as your fiance, but then again, I'm forced to or tempted to say that you might not be prepared for whatever you get with kids.
Okay.
I know that's your expectation, and I respect that. But all I'm trying to say is that, yeah, you go to Sunday school maybe 3 hours, 4 hours, and then they go home. Now,
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes there is even a certain side they show to you when they come to
exactly.
Sunday school because they know that, hey, we in the house of God. You have to put up your behavior.
Best
So
behavior.
yeah, sometimes the reality is that it goes beyond that, beyond what you would really see when you really live with them and you have to sort stuff out and all. Yeah,
And sometimes you need to sacrifice a lot of your
Yeah.
stuff
your life. Yeah,
for your kids.
yeah,
It
Yes.
could be even your career,
yeah,
sometimes your hobbies.
yeah.
And so that's the reality of having kids.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. So
Yeah, so
Yeah.
let me share one thing. I think
Okay.
maybe she wouldn't like it, but I need to share it.
Okay.
When yes, when I was growing up,
Okay.
I was actually raised up by my dad alone.
Okay.
Yes, so my mom passed when I was just 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I didn't get that kind of that relationship with your
Actually,
parents. 'Cause
yeah.
my dad is always out there, wanting to get some income and then send you to school. So mine
Yeah.
was school, pay school fee, get your books, go. That's all.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
nothing like I'm having a problem, I'm sharing with you and all those stuff. When I was growing up, it got into mind. I'm like, no, what my father didn't do for me when I was a child, I need to push all these things to my children. I need to
Right.
have time for them. I need to get
Right.
closer to them, build a relationship with them, so
Right.
that if there's any problem that they are facing,
Mm.
they might be able to tell me
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
communicate. Yes, because up to now, when I'm going through a problem,
Yeah.
I find it very difficult to communicate to my dad.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a very good story you shared there, and it's real. That's the reality of it. When you and it's always good, and I appreciate you for wanting to be what you didn't get.
Yeah.
It's a good vision to have. Sometimes the only and again I come in with all my troubles. Sometimes the only challenge there is that we tend to overdo whatever we think we lacked, and that's
Okay.
also something you need to watch out for, because you see that there is also that place for some level of hardness. You get what I mean? So for example,
Yeah.
say you had a very hard dad or something, someone who didn't have that
Time.
your TLC,
Mhm.
tender loving care to give you, then you would want to aim to always give that tender loving care, but then it gets overdone. You get what I mean? So it's a good place to be, to want to give
Okay.
whatever you didn't get. Oh, okay, your light is back.
Yeah.
But it's also a place to really watch out so that you don't overdo it. Gerard says that, month of one, you never walk alone. Yeah, Gerard, it was a good morning today. So I had to wake up around 5:30 a.m. to watch the
Okay.
Liverpool game, and it was good that we drew. Anyway, welcome back to uh, our discussion. Prissy, you have anything yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, good. So coming back to you, Wanda, do you now
Okay.
have your red flag? Do you now have an
Okay, I think
extra?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So,
Okay.
having come from a background where you had to be independent most of the time,
Yeah.
do you think that
Yep.
currently it is affecting the way you relate to your
Fiancé?
your fiancé? Do you think she has issues sometimes with that due to your
Yes.
absence?
Because
Yes.
naturally you will not communicate your internal feelings. You will not.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. It's
How,
actually it does. It does.
oh,
It
okay.
does.
Okay.
I before we started everything, I told her how I was brought up, and I
Oh,
usually
okay.
do things on my own, and then
Yeah.
she was okay with it, but we had a little a misunderstanding,
Okay.
and I mean she's coping, but I'm also
Okay.
trying to be that best person to always share my problems, because one thing I like about her is that she shares her problems with me.
Okay.
Everything she does it, so she's trying
Oh,
to
okay.
put my mind to you also have to do the same.
Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so she rather shares a problem with me, but
Oh,
sometimes I
okay.
will, and sometimes I will forget. Like for instance, today like this, I was going for a funeral. I had to just tell
Okay.
her just yesterday,
Okay.
and she was
Okay.
like, you know what, I've been with you for some time. If you are going somewhere, why don't you tell me maybe 2 or 3 days before? And cause she understands. So it's not like a fighting problem. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
We are trying, and I'm praying I'll be better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
also good.
I
Yeah.
understand her very well because Van
Yeah, I'm also a
Man is like
lone
a
ranger.
lone ranger.
Yeah.
So when we got married, at a point, I had to tell him that, look here, we are two now. You are not alone.
Yeah.
So you have to stop that independent, because sometimes, like, because you've lived that way all your life,
Correct.
it's hard for you to. So
Yeah.
if you have a spouse or a fiancé like that, the ladies, or the other way around, you have to consciously tell the person whenever they are trying to look like they are single or individual. You have to draw them and make them know that you are in a relationship. You have to.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not easy, especially for people who are. But for me, I am also somehow independent, so sometimes I don't care. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But there are times that I have to like remind you that, hey, you are not alone.
Yeah.
We are together. So you have to sometimes bear in mind that we are two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one advice I would want to give out there to people who are dating individuals that have how do you call it? They've been made to grow up really fast, like
Correct.
Be very independent at a very young age.
Yeah. Yes. Trying to mind your own business, trying to let things work for yourself. It's it doesn't just come easy to all of a sudden start being all over the place and communicating stuff and all. But yeah, it will work. I mean, keep pushing it. Okay, that's fine. And then when it comes to spending, right? What do you foresee? Do you foresee or do you expect a spouse that would always align with your spending plans, or you expect that the spouse can also come along with her spending mechanism, and you guys would make it work? Because spending, I mean, finances is a big deal in marriage. What is your expectation in that regard?
Yeah, so this is a very beautiful question. The reason why I'm saying the reason why I'm saying is that we that were brought up alone, we sometimes we spend anyhow. Sometimes because I'm alone, I have no direction. I want this, I just go and get it. I can buy something and just finish it today. But then to her, sorry, even if it's 50 cedis, she makes sure there's 30 cedis or 20 cedis down somewhere. Because I quite remember.
It's actually the flip side. You have, that's good. Continue.
So I quite remember when we started, I wanted us to be going out and, that kind of vibe. And she'll be like, hey, exactly. And then she'll be like, hey, I mean, why are you using all this money for this? I mean, hey, you want to spend all this on this? And so when she has actually cut down cost, and it has actually it has actually helped me. I can say she's here. I want to say, because I've been telling her, so I can say she's the reason why my room is very beautiful now. Because I've saved to buy a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff that a man needs. So when it comes to spending, no, we don't spend, that way.
Okay, that's good. So good that you've been you have someone who is keeping you on track. But then my other question is, when it comes to something that you feel you really need, and you're going to get to that point pretty soon. I mean, you get married and you getting income and everything. She's also getting income. There are things that you would think you really need. She would also think she really needs. But let's focus on you. So something you really think you need and she thinks you don't need, how are you going to deal with that?
I'm very good at convincing.
So you're convincing.
I'm very good at I mean, I know how to put it and she will accept it. I mean, Yes, and
then
sometimes
you are not allowing the financial controller to really do her work. You are using ways and means to bypass the process.
not always, not always, not always.
Okay.
Sometimes she tells you
Okay.
that, I mean, what you are going to buy, I mean, it's too expensive. You don't need it now. And I actually understand. Sometimes when I sleep over it and I know what she's saying actually makes sense.
Okay.
And one thing is that her predictions are always correct.
Oh,
I don't know. I think it's I don't know. Maybe you can ask Prissy. I don't know. Women, their predictions are always correct.
We are gifted.
Yes.
Don't make Prissy overly happy.
It's a big gift for women.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So let me chip in. Let me also chip in this. I quite remember when we were buying our stuff for our, we'll be getting married very soon.
Okay.
So
great.
when we were buying our stuff at that time, there was no hike in prices at that time. Things were normal. So one day I was there and she was like, "Why don't you go and buy this thing? Let's buy it and let's put it down. We don't know what will happen. I'm like, you two relax. We'll buy the thing. Relax." And she was able to convince me, and then we went to town and then we bought it. In 2 months' time, everything that we bought, let's say if we bought one thing for 1 cedi, in 2 months' time, it doubled to 3 to 4 cedis.
Oh, okay. So we might want to introduce her to Nanado's government. Maybe she'll how the economy will be pretty soon. Anyway, yeah, that's good. I mean, it's you.
Okay, so I want to ask a question. So you people decide to come to a consensus when buying things. Would you be alarmed when she buys you something really expensive in the name of surprise? Like something really expensive about things that okay, it's a surprise.
Would like really expensive.
Very expensive, but surprise.
Like three times your monthly income in there.
Or maybe
I'll be very surprised. Very surprised. I'll be very surprised. Yeah,
but would it be concerned?
It would, because I mean, I'll ask her where she got it from, even though it's a surprise. But
no. So probably it's your savings. I mean, the savings all of you are putting together for something, and she decides to surprise you.
Hey. I'll be surprised. In fact,
okay. But do you think, knowing yourself, do you think you take it lightly?
Yeah, I will.
Oh,
okay. I mean, let me make this point.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it, the fact that she's around, but it's the truth. Yeah. She's actually changed my my lifestyle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to use an example. So what if she has some money somewhere, she decides to maybe buy a land and build, and then later on, like after the building is completed, she comes to tell you that,
I've been building all along.
I built,
and I didn't tell you. I
wanted it to be a surprise to you.
Hey.
How surprised will you be, positively or negatively?
I mean, it's going to be both. It's going to be both.
Okay.
Yes.
For me, just before you come in, for me, that would be a very bad surprise.
Exactly.
But it happens. I've heard.
Oh yeah, it happens.
Even renting.
It happens.
When paying for rent and later on
they get to know that they are paying rent to their spouses.
Would it be a surprise house for you?
Yeah, will it be a good or bad surprise?
So now here boils down to my number 2 red flag: lies.
Okay, good. Finally, we got the red flag. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Lies.
Okay.
It's a surprise.
Okay.
I'll feel it's a lie. Because how did you we are staying together? You didn't tell me all this while.
No. Don't downplay that. People can do it and you will never know. And there are so many examples scattered around. So for that
Okay.
one, don't downplay. It can happen, and you never know. So
Wow.
what do you think would be? Yeah, you might not know exactly how you react, but what do you think might be your reaction?
Got it. Network break.
Oh, sorry. What I mean is that don't downplay the fact that people can do it without you knowing, without you, the spouse, knowing. People are so skilled. So if
Okay.
it happens that way, what do you think will be your reaction?
I mean, to me, she definitely tells me everything.
No, let's assume.
Yes, surprise.
Yeah,
Let's assume she doesn't.
so she
She
has decided to
doesn't.
surprise you.
Wow. This
Yeah.
one, I mean, Van, I'll be very, very surprised. I mean, my heart, I can't take it. I don't know. I can't take it.
Okay. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that
I
would be
can't.
the
But
negative
I
sense
think
as
that's
well.
usually when a man does that to a lady.
Uh-huh.
The man expects the lady to take it.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes,
why can't
yes,
it be the other way around?
So this is what I think, and to sum it, I mean, we already out of time. When you have open communications about your finances and all, then it doesn't become no, if you have open communications about your finances, then it will be a very big surprise. You get what I mean? Like,
yeah.
know what someone is doing and all of a sudden, out of the blue, the person comes and says that, hey, I did this. It will be a huge one. Now, if you handle your finances independently, then it would be a surprise, but it will be a positive surprise because, I don't know what you do with your money anyway, but I'm happy that at least you use it for something positive. But if you have an open communication about your finances and all of a sudden something comes up and you go like, hey, how on earth were you able to, that would be a negative surprise. Anyway, so all too soon, it's time. I mean, we've come to the end of another episode. Wanda would like to say a very big thank you to you for all the insights you shared. I'm very sure that we'll have you and your fiancé on very soon. So get her prepared and then we'll get you on. And
then can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this question goes to the two of you.
Okay, sure.
So what is the apo for you being together till now?
I'll say first of all, it is God. We both love God. We believe in principles of Christianity and all that. So we stick to the Bible. Then secondly, I'll say love. We are very selfless in loving each other. So I don't see Van as a separate entity from me. I always wish him what I wish for myself. I'm not in a competition with my husband. It's always like we want each other to do well. So I always see him as myself. So that is what has kept us going. Yes.
Wow.
So I'll say those two basic.
Strong one.
Van, do you have any other thing to add?
Yeah, I have about 1,000 of them.
You can just add some.
Yeah, like 1,000. I think one other key thing, right, is communication. You know, we mentioned the communication thing, right? There are things that from the get-go, we communicate as to a no-no.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So from right off the bat, we know what is not acceptable. You get what I mean? And it's not, like, for example, I always tell Prissy, I can look at someone and we all know how the person is and tell Prissy that, hey, there is no way I can be married to this person. What I'm communicating is that you can't be this person because there is no way I want to be married to such a person. And we have clear boundaries. I mean, if we are married, some things are no. And so if those principles are clear and we really define, then we happily enjoying it. another thing I would say really matters is to go through all the seasons together.
Okay.
You see, people come into marriage with a lot of expectations, but what if they don't materialize?
Okay.
Be ready and be willing to go through all the seasons together. Whether things are okay, things are not okay, keep holding each other and keep looking at the vision. Yeah, it will work. Let's keep going. It would work. I mean, if think about it, you have a pilot, you fly in a plane, and then you enter into turbulence. Then the pilot says, "Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I want to announce to you that I can no longer handle this plane. And from my checks, there is no other pilot on this plane. And so I'm going to think about it." You know, you want to have someone who will always be there, whether things are going right or wrong. And it gets to a point where you are fully convinced that, no, this is someone who is ready to go through thick and thin with me. And when you all come to that assurance, you all have that assurance, then you go all out for each other and make sure things work out. Yeah.
All right.
So we'll discuss the 998 later. These are just two out of one. Right. And so finally, William says, "Today is my first time joining you, and I'm really happy to be here." We're also really happy to have you, William. Okay, so Wanda, thank you so much. And so we'll be expecting you and your fiancé, as I mentioned earlier. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us for another episode of Dear Van. We'll definitely come your way pretty soon next week with yet another episode. And watch out for our Christmas episodes. We'll have very wonderful Christmas carols. No, will Prissy be singing Christmas?
No,
if the day Prissy will sing Christmas carols, I will not be here. I mean, I don't want to face any embarrassment. I will not be here.
No, my key is not on the.
It's not on the keyboard.
I have my own key.
Exactly. Prissy will be singing in Z flat and all. So get ready for that. So we sign off at this point. Always remember that no two relationships are the same. Thank you, cheers, and bye for now. Look at the sources of financial pressures. Now, we've identified two main sources of financial pressure. So the first one being internal, that is internally generated in the marriage, and the one that is without, the externally generated ones. What makes you two happy, and not allow the pressure of having to impress everyone have a toll on your marriage. For example, if what you can afford is a single room somewhere, what matters is that you are happy, basically, and not what will my friends say, what will my family say, what would everyone say, apart from what would my spouse say.
Having kids is like having little bosses at home. They control what you do. Yeah. It's very difficult to control kids. Yes. Yeah. So it's not easy to handle them. Yeah. It brings a lot of pressure, especially if you are not that used to taking care of